change in the schedule, and we're going to Ruth and I are going to sort of skip over our piece of this and surprise Dan by letting him know that he's up next.
I am?
Yes.
Oh, okay. How much? God, I haven't written it yet, though. I was going to do that while you guys were speaking. 15 minutes? Okay. You want me to do 25 and you want to do 15? Are we behind?
Yes.
Okay. Well, give me the oh, it's up front there, isn't it? All right. So I guess the reason I kind of wanted to have a little bit of time on the agenda, other than the fact that James told me that we were desperate to have more content here, and so was there anything I could possibly do to fit in to take up time in the meeting without letting you guys know that I was a space filler here? I won't mention that at all. But we've had some real interesting conversations here with David, and we had conversations with Tim earlier, and a number of us have been kind of talking the last couple of meetings about some of the correlation between Web 2.0 and Internet 2.0. And at one of the meetings I had everybody kind of raise their hand if you knew what Web 2.0 was. And I think there were about 4 or 5 people that put their hand up and said, yeah, I have a clue of what Web 2.0 is about. And I'm curious if that's changed here. Are there more people who feel they have a pretty good grasp on what Web 2.0 is? Okay, that's doing really well. So we were talking about social networking. We introduced Twitter, for example, about a year ago and tried to get everybody on Twitter. We got everybody going with Flickr and tried to get folks so that they were taking pictures around the conference and tagging their pictures. Yeah, that's gone over like a lead balloon. So what I would say so far is that, well, you guys are getting to the point now where you probably feel a little bit better about what Web 2.0 is. Let's see if I can actually make this work. My dismay is that many of you aren't actually doing a lot of these things that you practice. So one of the things about Web 2.0 is that, in general, it's very light. It's not real heavy. I was watching, as I walked to the back, I saw Kim was firing up her Skype client back there. We're using applications that are very, very light on bandwidth in Web 2.0, whereas the reason we're here, that we're all Internet 2 people, is because we believe in these really massive, huge pipes coming in and applications that are just going to overwhelm everybody. HD video conferencing, 4 meg, or maybe you're going to run MPEG 2. And down in Austin, we saw what 30 meg per second running for the high-res channels for the cellists and the string quartet. I mean, we've seen all these really great things, but how many of you have schools, individual schools, where any desktop could probably get 30 meg per desktop? Yeah, I didn't think so. But, when I talk to people like Pat Sine, and I keep making fun of her every single conference for saying this to me, so we call this the Pat Sine effect, is that the reason you come here is probably because you're looking for things to take home to your teachers. How many of you are involved with laying fiber and making pipes and setting up switches? And okay, Larry, yeah, okay. Most of you probably aren't. Instead, I saw about 85% of the hands go up earlier when we said that you were all former teachers. And you're here to be able to bring things back into your classroom. And I find that kind of a rather interesting mix of people, because we come here and we're hanging around Internet 2 because we're looking for these great applications that use big bandwidth and that we can take back and share with our teachers. On the other hand, these meetings seem kind of strange because as great as, and I don't mean to demean the electron microscope program, but how many of you think you're actually going to have a school that's really going to be able to do something like that? Okay, a few people.
All of the schools, it's not an issue.
Because they have the bandwidth, or because the teachers are actually going to take advantage of it?
Well, because they have bandwidth.
Right. How many of you actually think you'll be able to run that program, or that you'll be able to widespread it? So let me put it this way. I get up and I talk in front of 50, 60, 70 different teachers. A high school will invite me out, and I do a program for an hour, an in-service for an hour. I do a half-day workshop. And I like to show a lot of the videos. In fact, Lewis's famous slide presentation we use all the time. We like to show those videos. How many of those programs do we actually do most of the time? Probably pretty Now, there are great demos about things that we can do, but they're not necessarily things that are things that we can ask the teachers themselves to use and deploy. So one of the nice things about Web 2.0, and for those of you who didn't raise your hand, you feel comfortable with Web 2.0, what it is, more or less, is the idea where we used to have the internet where you put up a static HTML page and you Google for it or use Yahoo or DMOZ or whatever you were using at the time. You'd find that nice static page of information. Today, Web 2.0 is the rewrite of web. It's the collaborative web. It's all these applications that you can participate in and that other people can participate in. And I'd really like to say probably the one that we've worked the hardest on here is Muse, which is what I put up behind us. This is a good example of a collaborative workspace. I'm always dismayed by the number of people who aren't on here yet. So if you're not, please visit k20.internet2.edu and sign up and get your minions to sign up, please. We'd love to see you there. Put your projects on and sign up your RSS feeds, which will allow us to pull that information from your projects back in there. But there's a number of other projects. For example, David has much better, and as James was telling me, their project's much better at Orion than Muse's. You know, it's more thought out, and they actually did market research instead of, how'd you put it, shooting from the hip with a shotgun? I think that's a Montana thing, right? So, you know, with Muse, it was sort of, we're still exploring that area, but there's other social networking sites out there that do sort of the same thing. So the idea is, we want to start connecting teachers in the classroom. And we want them to start learning about these things, and we want them to start doing these things. And they're doing that. There's, in fact, a K-12 online conference today that is literally taking place online. And we're here, so we're not tuning into that. But it's a big international effort right now called K-12 Online. So that's meeting today. And there's teachers who are out there doing these things every day. In fact, I've been sitting here, last year it was Twitter, this year it's Clerk. So I've got my little PLN, my personal learning network, and all these great little things. So I'm sitting here clerking and telling teachers back and forth. And a lot of schools are off right now because, you know, today's Columbus Day and all of that. So, you know, we're sharing information right live out of this conference. If somebody comes up to speak, I've been making interesting points and sharing it with my friends and my fans on Clerk in real time. So there's all this interaction that's going on, and that's what's really important. We're not just teaching out of the textbook. We're using these tools. We're creating things online. And we are sort of creating this new communicative process. We're using Web 2.0 in the classroom, and especially over Internet2. So my hope is, as we get together and we start doing more and more of these kind of things, we start doing our research, and Muse continues to grow, and we figure out a way to SOAP and OPML and all these kind of things to get our databases together so that Janet's database and Orion's database and Muse's database, we all start talking that when we not only are connecting teachers, but we're connecting all of our projects together, we create something even better and even new that's going to be this Internet2 Web 2.0 type of experience that'll take advantage of some of the services that Internet2 has to offer. We're not there yet. In fact, most of the Web 2.0 stuff, because it goes to the teacher level and the classroom level, is very, very light. It's not stuff that's real heavy at this point. But just like if you have, my toilet in my room is running constantly. It sounds like the thing flushes every 20 minutes. So last night, all of a sudden my toilet goes because it was leaking all night. Little drips of water add up. All right, and if I was paying the water bill for this hotel and I'm thinking about how many leaky toilets are here on the 45th floor, so how many leaky toilets are here, that's got to be a lot of water. And let me tell you, there's a lot of classrooms, and all these little drips add up to an awful lot of flushes, okay? So you get your 25, your 50 megabit. Jim Moran from Merritt used to say to me all the time, why are you here? You know, Wisconsin can't do that. You have 1.5 mega bandwidth, you have 3 mega bandwidth in your schools. After 5 years of being here, more than 5 years of being here, I'm just now getting schools that are at 10 meg and 30 meg and 50 meg, and I got a museum that we just upgraded to 100 meg recently. So we're really looking at sort of some of these next things. What I wanted to do is, James told me we weren't going to introduce ourselves this morning. So we're going to do sort of a little mixer type of activity, but we wanted to do something with Web 2.0, and I had about 25 minutes to do it. And we didn't have time to actually go through and introduce everybody. So I kind of came up with this, and then wouldn't you know, Lewis first thing said, okay, let's everybody introduce themselves. So what I want to do here real quickly is I want to show you a tool, something sort of fun. I wanted to talk a little bit about Delicious, and I'm going to cut that out. We'll have to explore that at another time. Sort of the bridge between the web and Web 2.0. social bookmarking. I'm going to skip over that. I wanted to show you Pat Sign's bookmarks, for example, anything else that's done with I2K20. I'm going to skip over that because we've lost about 10 minutes out of here, right? And I want to do kind of a little exercise real quickly. I've told you a little bit about myself and that I work for high schools. That's who I'm paid by. I'm paid by 10 high schools, the museum. I do a lot of consulting, other things. But I don't work for a large SegP. I volunteer my time at WISNet. So my interest in this is maybe a little bit different than some of you who are paid by different entities, by larger entities, or your jobs are maybe a little more prestigious than mine. But what I would say is that we all have an interest. We have a different reason for coming here. And so instead of hearing about where you're from, what I'd like to know is what's one of the most interesting things or something that you have a ton of interest in. For me, it's museums. Okay, it could be content providers, could be video conferencing, could be something like that. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to pick the word museum. I'm going to type that down. And what I'd like to do is just quickly go around the room, table to table, and have you just say something that's just really outstanding, something that you're interested in, that you hope to get out of this group. So Randy, how about you? What's an area of interest for you, something fascinating?
The opportunity to collaborate with people and share objects and curriculum materials that students create is...
All right, collaboration. Sounds good, Randy. Next, we'll go over. Tim, give me a word or two.
International partners.
International partners. International partnerships. Bob.
Leveraging the teachers.
Rob?
Collaboration with researchers.
Something that's different from what's there right now.
It doesn't matter. You can give me something that's there. You can give me something new. I don't care.
Digital content for teachers.
User needs.
Lewis, what brings you here? Paycheck.
Why don't you go on to other folks?
Okay, we'll go around the back.
Making it work in the classroom.
Rich current content.
And you can say something that's up here. It doesn't matter.
Science project.
Undergraduate research collaboration.
Effective collaboration.
Partnerships.
Creative collaboration.
Personalized application.
Kim?
Digital databases, digital archives. Global interactivity. Classroom projects. Engaging student voice and issues.
HR manager, workforce readiness.
Workforce what?
Readiness.
Online research?
Hands-on training via distance.
Ruthie?
Getting teachers to understand that this is more than, I'll get it down to two words in just a second. I talk like you do. Getting teachers to understand that Internet2 resources are add-in, not add-on. So it's professional development.
How about Larry? Why don't we start over here with your table? We'll work our way around.
Well, mine's a little more concrete. I want to see if I can browbeat the science committee and get Smithsonian back active as a partner between them two. And politics and money have said that way, and I'd like to go back to Showa and see if we couldn't develop
partnerships and politics?
Yep.
Cool.
Marketing.
Delivering high-quality interactive music and performing art. Partnership. Take the scalability. People networking.
Teaching 21st century skills. Intersegmental collaboration.
Is there a hyphen in there?
Sure. Either way works.
DJ?
Outreach and promotion of applications.
Okay, outreach.
Say collaboration with results.
Remote site support.
Okay.
Public library and communities for rural
Project partnerships. Opportunities for students to interact with practitioners of the arts and sciences.
All right, so what I'm going to do on, do you want to add one in there, Louis, or not? You sure?
Thank you.
All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this list over. I'm going to go to a tool. Excuse here. Let's see. I'll go over to a tool called Wordle. And what this does is it takes tags, basically, things that we tag. If I had shown you Delicious, we'd talk a little bit about tagging. We talk a little bit about it in Flickr. And what I'm going to do is paste in all of these different things that we just talked about and hit go here. And hopefully it's going to make me a nice, beautiful word cloud that tells me all of the different things that we just talked about. And I can hit randomize here a few different times, and it'll come up each time with a little bit different pattern, something along those lines. These make great t-shirts. But one of the things is it just took all of the different reasons that you guys came here today for, and it put the emphasis based on what you've just told me. This is all the reasons that we come here. And I think this is a really good way, just a real quick mixer to talk about. Obviously, we have a lot of different agenda items that we've brought to the table here. But this is a real good way, for example, to use this in your classroom. It's a light, very light, easy application. Just went around, talked about what we needed, and put together a really cool tag cloud, a word cloud. And I'll output one or two of these, and we'll throw them in on the wiki there as well. Wordle.net, wordle.net is the URL for that. And you can take tag clouds, for example, on my Delicious links earlier. I did one where I just set all the different bookmarks that I had on the web. And you can see what's important to me, all the different tools, Web 2.0, education, scouting, collaboration, those types of things. So these are things that are important to me. And I thought this was sort of a neat opportunity to bring all of your thoughts in and say just how diverse this group is. So how was that, James? Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. I've always thought it was a shame that Dan lacked enthusiasm. His activities. Our next speaker, Linda Rosen, is Linda here?
Should be coming in by video
Oh, she's
conference.
coming in by video. Okay, good. Thank you. Linda's going to talk to us a little bit about